The study was conducted on or was sponsored by the Protect Center at Northeastern, which has been investigating prenatal exposures to chemicals and their effects on adverse pregnancy outcomes in Puerto Rico since 2010. This was an epidemiologic study that examined the associations between chemicals in everyday soaps, lotions, makeup, and sunscreen, and other personal and consumer products, and how they relate to the risk of hypertension during pregnancy among individuals in Puerto Rico. So what we found essentially is that these chemicals, phenols, and parabens that are in these everyday soaps, lotions, makeup, sunscreen, other personal care products, other cosmetics, increase the risk of hypertension among pregnant individuals in Puerto Rico. And in fact, the combination of exposure to multiple of these chemicals at a time had an even greater risk than exposure to individual chemicals. And that's important because women on average use at least 12 personal care products a day. And it's also important because hypertension during pregnancy increases risk of heart disease and diabetes after pregnancy in both the mom and the child. And it also increases risk of dangerous pregnancy complications like preeclampsia in both the mom and or in the mom, and that is a risk factor for preterm birth, which is an adverse health outcome for the child that is linked to delayed growth, delayed motor and behavioral development, among other potential problems for the child through development. One thing we've been saying that women can do is to avoid products that contain some of these chemicals. So for example, you can use or choose mineral-based sunscreens that contain zinc oxide and titanium dioxide rather than what's called oxybenzone, which is one of the phenols in our study. You can choose or look for fragrance-free shampoos, creams, lotions, paraben-free products. But it is also important to remember that we can't shop our way out of this problem. There are some upstream changes that sort of need to be made. And one of those is pushing for industry innovation to design products that are actually safer for us to use, that are still effective, but also safer. And then we also need to be pushing for policy changes and more ingredient labeling, so that we actually test these products before they come into commerce. In the United States, we certainly aren't doing that pre-market testing like Europe is doing. The United States is a huge purchaser of these products, a huge commerce for these products. So getting the United States up to par with the way that the European Union conducts their chemicals policy, I think would be a great first start.